and gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's Untethered Live on a Friday night. I'm your host, Jake Johnson, and tonight is my last podcast this year. Sunday will be my first podcast next year because that's how years work. CWL, you get the gold star tonight. How are you doing, my friend? Welcome to the show. Amanda, hello. Good to see you, chat. How are you tonight? Love. Happy Friday. I am fantastic. CWL, here's your gold star. Can't complain. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Not too cold today. It's cold, but not too cold. You know, long sleeve weather, but not jacket weather. So that's good. Had a long day at work. Had some nice gestures from some friends. Had a nap. And this nice hot cup of coffee. And inside is the letter R and the number 4,727 and 2. How are you doing tonight? CWL, you staying warm? Talkative bunch, are you? Okay. Yeah, it's not bad here. That's good. It's not too bad here either. I think it's like 48 degrees or something like that outside. It's not bad at all. I got me some caffeine and some sugar. I'm ready to roll. Amanda says, I'm lovely tonight. It's great. It's great to be lovely. Could be worse. Could be homely. It's nice to be lovely. It's 66 here, says CWL. You're doing better than I am. Sometimes I think the weather people just make up numbers, though, because there's no way, if it's 50 degrees outside, that I have my heater on, because throughout the summer, I keep my bedroom at 65 degrees, and I'm naked in there most of the time. So that's just a few degrees below that. It's not that much colder. 55 degrees is a relatively balmy t-shirt day. So why is it cold if it's only 50 degrees? We're at 67 here, says Amanda. I'm not sure where we are here, but we're between 46 and 50. 46. That may be why it's cold. It's not 50 degrees. My weather app lied to me. In the future, you'll have to have electronics lie to you about the weather. Piece of donut. Sorry. Anyway, tonight I figured we'd just lay back and hang out. Being that I have a big weekend coming up. Sunday is my birthday. So Sunday at Bible study, we'll be celebrating my birthday. So that's going to be great. Tonight, I'm just reflecting over the past year and what all we've done this year and how far we've come. Weathermen drink too. Yes, they do. And if you got the right kind of cable, the weather girls get naked too. Happy birthday, December 10th. Thank you. Thank you very much. I will officially be old. And I don't know how I feel about that. coming from a perpetually young guy, been young all my life. I'm reaching old now, and it's kind of unnerving. Don't know how to feel. Should I be happy or terrified or a little of both? Trepidatious. I think trepidatious is the right way to go about it. That's the way I'm going. Moving forward cautiously, as it were. I think this year I'm going to focus on building the podcast out, getting some fans in here. CWL says, I don't have cable or satellite. I get 4 channels and I'm happy with that. Yeah, well, that's how we grew up. So we don't know what we're missing, actually. Anytime I've ever had a bunch of channels, like I've got a TV in there that's got a device on it that has like 10,000 channels. I don't know how many. It's got a bunch. And I find that I spend all my time flipping through looking to see what's playing and never any time watching anything playing because nothing is good. So 10,000 channels of nothing that's good ain't worth having. Give me the one channel that has a good show on it every night. I'll take that. So there's something to be said for that, CW. I'm glad you brought that up because these youngsters don't know how good they have it. We may be the last generation that did not grow up entirely with the internet in our heads. We are the last generation. No, maybe two. We are the last generation. There is no other way to look at it. We are the only people left on Earth that can think without Google. Think about that. I used to like to watch the History Channel, says CWL, but now I'm happy with classic TV. I used to like to watch the History Channel, too, when it played programs that were, I don't know, about history. Now all they play is mermaid and Bigfoot documentaries and UFOs. None of that's history. So I don't know what the hell they're doing. Discovery Channel, Science Channel, they're all the same. They do the same thing. I used to like to watch PBS. You can't even get good shows on PBS anymore. I guess because they're brought to us by viewers like us, and we didn't pay for it, so. Aliens and pawn shops. Yep, that's right. Ain't nothing but nonsense. Can't learn anything because everything they tell you is a lie. They used to have real documentaries, you know. Now everything is so sensationalized. It's amazing that you can learn anything true because everything is bolstered and bloviated and blown out of proportion and opined upon. None of it's good. None of it's cut to the bone truth, which is what they used to do, or at least I thought they did. Maybe they always did it that way, and I just was too young to know the difference. I don't know. Who knows? That's the terrible thing about second-guessing yourself. You never know how far to go with it, because is it just now that the news media and all the documentaries and everything is lying to us? Or has it always been that way? Think about propaganda, for example. There's been an overtly communistic bent to movies as of late. And I've noticed it. And it's like they're not even hiding it anymore. They're just flat out pushing communism in movies. Come to find out, that was the very reason movies were invented in the first place. It's always been that way. The McCarthy era was all about communism in Hollywood. Albeit that is a little askewed and not exactly the way it was presented to the world. But still, that was the problem. So as long as there's been radio and as long as there's been TV or any media like this, there have been people pushing propaganda on it. That's the reason it exists. And everything today is so opinionized. Yes. Well, that's because they switched. It was about, I guess it was about 2000, somewhere in that area. They switched from news to opinion shows. All the news phased out, and all the personalities came in. I remember the first time I saw somebody laugh on the news, or crack a joke, or take a sip of wine while they were broadcasting the news. I remember how jarring it was, because remember back in the day, they had that straight-laced reporter thing where they would talk in like sing-songy, monotone voices, and they would deliver the news emotionless and without bias, or at least it appeared that way. And now here's this crazy lady cackling on TV talking about the news but sipping wine. And I'm like, well, that's odd. When did that happen? When did they make that okay? Well, when they slowly phased out reality and slowly brought in opinions, personality. And now all the news is personality. And it's all bent one way or the other. I don't think there's a such thing as fair and balanced news. I think it's all either left wing or right wing, or super right wing or super left wing, or I don't even know if there is a middle ground. OAN maybe? No, they would call that right wing. I don't know. We done away with our toll booths here, so now they send you your tolls in the mail? That's horrible. That y'all would be able to fight that. That sounds like entrapment. I already pay taxes. Now I got to pay for your roads via another ticket that you sent to me in the mail that I didn't volunteer for? Don't think that's legal. I wonder how they get away with that. Somebody needs to write Chris Christie a letter. And Amanda says, yep, they take a picture of your tag. Well, that's terrifying. I don't want to do that. You would think so, but just one more step towards 1984. That's George Orwell's novel, The 1984, not the year 1984. And you're all correct. And if you haven't read that book, I strongly suggest you go out and get a copy of it immediately and read it immediately so that you can better prepare yourself for what's coming in the near future to a city near you, because he was on the money with his prediction of the future. And then when you get finished reading 1984, you need to go get yourself a copy of the Gulag Archipelago, which is, I believe, Nietzsche or Tolstoy. I don't remember which. Anyway, go get that book and read it, because that's where all of this ends. And you need to know that, because you're living it. I'm sorry. Bourgeois what? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, this guy has an education. He's dangerous. My class had to read that book my senior year because we were born in 1984. You were born in 1984? I thought you were older than me for some reason. I was born in the other one. Further back, another decade. I was born in the 8-track era. Yep. When I was a kid, there was no such thing as a VCR. or a Walkman or a cell phone or a computer or a flat screen or HD TV for that matter. Cold Creek Crop, what's up? Try the 50s, whippersnapper. Ah, there's always somebody bigger. There's always a badder dog than your bad dog. I know. Everybody thinks their crow is the blackest. And that's not a racist statement, by the way. How you doing, Cold Creek Croft? Good to see you, my friend. Would you happen to need a Dodge Dynasty? I happen to know one at a reasonable price in your area. I have listened to records and tapes, says CWL. Yeah, you listened to them. I was there when they were pressed. Cole says October of 59, so closer to the 60s, but technically 3 months in. Well, that's technical. I was born in December of 74, so I'm still in 74, albeit just for a week or so. Amanda says, I had an 8-track collection. You inherited an 8-track collection. You did not have an 8-track collection. Don't even try to play that, little girl. Somebody gave you an 8-track collection. What store did you buy 8-track cassettes from? I need a backup car for sure. Where? I'll send you the details. Mine boy has 345,000 miles and it feels a little loose in the chassis department. Running off the road at high speed didn't help. Amanda says, I still had one from Daddy. Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah, Daddy had an 8-track collection. I got you. I'll give you the difference. You had 8 tracks in a box. I got in a car that had an 8-track player. See the difference? And can remember doing it. You ever shoved an 8-track into a dashboard? That's what I'm talking about. Cole says, I find it hard to believe it can be anywhere within 500 miles, but okay to consider. I don't know how far it is. I just know it's in the Montana area, and it'd be a lot closer for you to go get it than it would be for me to go get it. Nonetheless, I'll send you the details, and we'll figure it out. I think it'll be a good purchase. Probably a really good deal. We'll see. Things coming out of my mouth here. So anyway, as I was saying, everything seems to be facsimile of what it used to be. Like I said, I was young then, so ignorance isn't a sin, and for all I know, it could have always been this way. But 147,000 square miles to choose from in winter, but it can't be that far, eh? Can't be that far. It's less far than it is for me. Might be far. I don't know. We'll see. Might be in your backyard. I do remember our home stereo had an 8-track player, but I was about 7, says Amanda. Yeah, I remember those two. Very curious. Do you have any clue at all about the general location? All I know is the Montana area, near a mountain. That's the best I can give you. You remember Alpine Gulch? She has it. And I will email you her information just as soon as we're done here. And I did say Montana area because I'm not exactly sure where it is, but you're the first person I thought of, so I figured I'd bring it up. Because you're a little better off than I am in the car department, but not by far. Wouldn't take much to have you walking. I know that. It'd be nice to have something to back up. Yeah, Alpine. I think I know. Somewhere on the Front Range, about 400 miles plus. But good excuse to visit close friends in the area. We'll stand by. Okay. That's all the information I got at the moment, but I'll get more and I'll make sure you have it. All right. So, what's the deal, yo? Are we in a famine? Information famine? Are we fortunate? Do we have friends? Are the fairways fewer? What's going on in this world? Are we barreling down the end as quickly as we can get to it? It feels that way. There are a few things happening in our society, transgenderism, that, excuse me, that generally signal the fall of civilization imminently. This has happened before. This is not a new thing. You can look back into history and you can see evidence of that several times over. It's not a new idea. It's been going on for a while. So what does that mean? Are we at the imminent failure of our civilization as we know it? Or is it just going to turn into something else? Because a lot of people think Rome never fell. They think they just moved. Here we are in Rome, like we always were, just in a different version of it. Look at our government system, look at our school system, look at our hospital system, look at our Senate, look at our Congress. It's all the same. That's how they did it. And we say we modeled it after them, but did we? Or did they just move over here over time? Who knows? Nobody does. What we do know is there's some concerning things happening in our world, and we are all spectator to it, whether we want to be or not. So what do you do about that? Spectate. That's all you can do about it, because you can't change it. That's just the nature of reality. I suppose everyone could rile up and make a difference, but nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to do that because it's easier to roll with the flow than it is to rock the boat. Well, enough people believe that there's not going to be any boat rocking going on. The days of revolution are over. There may be some small incursions here and there, but no big, massive change to the society. We'd have to go through quite a lot to get to that. Quite a lot. Quite a few hundred years of serious oppression and tyrannical behavior to get people to a place where they would actually stand up and fight. But the irony of it is, the irony of ironies is we could change it easily right now. It won't be so easy to change in a few hundred years of tyranny. So, what's the answer? CWL says, the house I was raised in, all we had for heat was an Ashley wood stove. The house I was raised in, all we had for heat was an actual wood stove that you put wood in, that you chopped. Looked like a pig, made out of cast iron. I still have one of those. I love them. Cold Creek Cross says, have no problem walking. Do have problem walking 15 miles one way to the nearest reason. To nearest reason. Cold Creek Cross says, yes, things like this, like wildfires, just blow up exponentially with a rotten core of ignorance, no care for dishonor and bad education. We're headed for something big. I agree. I do agree. And I don't think you can stop it. I think this is the trajectory of the world. I think it's going to have good moments here and there. It's going to plateau. But I think inevitably it's just going to snowball into something that nobody can control, and bad things are going to ensue. I really do believe that. I believe, as I teach the Bible, I believe we are in the tribulation. This is the part of the Bible that Revelations talks about. I believe that. But I don't know that I'm any more right than anybody else. All I do know for sure is it's going to get worse before it gets better. That just stands to reason. That's just logic talking. So how do we deal with that? People, good people, Christians are like homesteaders, people who care about their livelihoods, care about their families, people who are not involved in the big city hoopla that's going on everywhere. How do we survive that? Well, I'll give you some pointers. Number one, have something to trade with. Get you some precious metals or some ammunition or something valuable and small, because you'll be surprised what will count as money when there is none. When the government finally clinches down on the cryptocurrency and we can't access our bank accounts anymore, you'd be surprised what a clip of ammunition will do for a week's worth of groceries. Something like that, you know. Little silver, little gold if you can get any. A way to make bread, something like that. That's very important. Grow a garden, have some vegetables. Cold Creek, you're way ahead of the game on that one. Don't just live anymore. You can't afford to. What you have to do is figure out how to make life work for you in some fashion. You have to, if it's not producing something for you, you're not doing it right. So you can't just go from daylight to dark and have nothing happen. You can't just lounge around and watch TV. You have to have something productive occur in your transaction of life, because that's the new currency. Have a skill. If you can build something or fix something, you become the new most valuable person. You're the new VP, MVP, most valuable player. You have to be able to offer something. And most importantly, above all things else, and I want you to really hear me on this one, because when things go bad, and they will go bad, write it down that Jake said so, it will happen. You're going to need people more than you've ever needed people before. So I don't care if you're a misanthropic loner like me, if you're out there in the woods, ain't seen a person in 50 days, I don't care who you are. You need a community. Build a community. Keep it strong. Do whatever it takes to make it live. Because when shit hits the fan, and it will, that community can be the difference between you starving to death or dying of dysentery and being taken care of. Or just not going stir crazy mad because you have nobody to talk to on your ham radio in the middle of the night in between federal sweeps. Something like that. Community is important. It really is. The older I get, the more I can see that. CWL says, when a person tells you their pronouns and it becomes a short story, something is wrong with our society. Yes. If somebody tells you their pronouns, there's something wrong with our society. Cole says, still recall what an ER doc told me years ago. Worse now. Society is like a bicycle with no rider rolling down the street, wobbling and on the way to crashing. That sounds right. Cole says, that's why I'm so damn grateful for, a farm. I have huge seed stocks from this year, plus lots of cattle, and I'm sure Buckshot would share if it came to it. Hell, 12 turkeys in the yard. Hell, you can live on 12 turkeys for almost a year if you had to. Think about that. I counted a solid 20 ring-neck pheasant rooster in the yard today. I guess I would eat, even if I had to throw rocks. Well, learn to make a slingshot and you won't have to throw rocks. You can shoot the thing. And unlike the old world, rats, wood rats, have succulent, tasty meat, mammals of America. Say what? Sorry, Neo. Neo, you're the one. You see what I did there? I did a Matrix thing. Like we're in the Matrix right now. So, grow something, make something, have a community, and be valuable. Be valuable to your community. You don't have to have a big community. You just have to have one. And you have to be willing to give of yourself to that community. Because when it's all gone, that community is all you've got left. And it's the only bond that will survive calamity. I promise you that. You think you got friends? You got friends as long as you got money or transportation or food. The minute you run out of those things, you find out who your friends are. And you need people that are more than friends. You need people that are family. And that's what a community is, a family. And it's very important that we keep this podcast alive because this is my community. And I take it very seriously. And you should too. CWL says there is a lot of people. There is a lot that people can eat when it comes right down to it. That's true. And it would behoove you to know what those things are. Do you? There are some books I recommend that will tell you things in your yard that you can eat, like poke salad and different things like that. Different grasses that can be edible that have protein and what you shouldn't eat, like morning glories, because you'll trip balls and then die. But the tripping balls part might be fun, but the rest of it ain't. Anyway, poke salad is awesome. Yes, it is. Do you know what it looks like? Do you know where it grows? I have some in my front yard. I can go out in my yard and pick salad. It grows wild here. Go figure. I don't like it, but it's there if I need it. I also have bullaces and blackberries and several other things, a pear tree. Cold Creek Croft says, CWL, someone gave me an edible plant book, and damn, absolutely so much I didn't know all around me. Even a pond full of cattails if desperate, right? CWL says, I have it growing all over down here. Right on. That's good. It's good to have that. It's good to know that. It's good to be able to recognize the difference between quality and unquality foods, especially if you're thrust into being a hunter-gatherer because you can't go to the grocery store anymore. And people take that for granted, and everybody thinks it can't happen. We're just too civilized. There's just always going to be groceries there. Don't forget the last time we had a hurricane and all the toilet paper and bread disappeared. No milk anywhere. Overnight. Because a few dumb people. But that's how it's going to be if the world goes down. A few dumb people are going to get everything they can get their hands on. There'll be nothing left for you. No gasoline. No drugs. No food. No toilet paper. What do you do then? Well, I can hunt. Not exactly. Because there's going to be chaos in the streets for a while. And that scares all the animals away. So you'll be hunting an empty field for a long time. The deer will eventually come back, or squirrels, or whatever it is you're hunting for. But at first, they're going to scatter, because if you've ever watched cattle just before a storm, I want you to watch them next time. You'll notice that about a day before the storm, they all kind of congregate in one spot. And just before the storm hits, they all circle up together. And if you looked at them overhead, you'd see circles of cattle everywhere, all over the world. Because they can sense that. They know it's coming. And they prepare for it the way that cattle do. But so do all other animals, too. My cats disappear every time the weather changes. They just vanish. Can't find them anywhere. They won't come if you call them. They're just gone. Where they go? Well, they're preparing. That's what cats do. So, after the world settles, I'm assuming it'll be instant, like a EMP attack or something. It may not be instant. It may be gradual over time, just things run out. Who knows? But know this. Everything in your life, everything, your electricity, your groceries, your water, everything you have, you're 3 days away from not having it. 3 days. That's all. So these people that buy, 6 months of food and this, it's a waste of time. You need 3 days of food because in 3 days, you're not going to have anything. And if you can't find anything in the next 3 days, you're screwed. You're just beating off the inevitable. The only way you can survive it is to be able to survive it, to be able to produce for yourself and your family. Cold Creek says, landlord gave me the winter squash, which I had never thought of or bothered with. Now I have 8 on a shelf. Acorn squash, each weighing out over 4 pounds. Super yield. That's awesome, Cold Creek Croft. And then he says, you'll also see cattle responding to a storm by seeking shelter in the best directions. If, like here, there's a lot of rolling hills and gulches to choose from, right? Yeah, I've always noticed that about cattle, that they huddle up. And they seem to know before anybody else does that something's coming. I don't know how they know, but they know. But 3 days, that's all you got. You got 3 days. After that, you're just beating off the inevitable. And you'll know immediately whether or not you can go out and get something to eat or not. And you need to do that every day for every person in your house. So I would suggest learning how to, do all those things. At some point, I think it's a good idea. I think everybody should take a shooting course. If they didn't grow up with guns, I think they should go get some lessons. I think they should learn the difference between different ammunitions. I think you should learn how to make ammunition. Get you one of those little presses and learn how to put the proper amount of gunpowder and how to mix up gunpowder from raw ore and stuff like that. What's in gunpowder? Does anybody know? Does anybody know what's in gunpowder? I'll give you a hint. It's saltpeter, sulfur, and something else. I can't say the rest. Anyway, I recommend you take a course in gardening just to learn how to put a seed in the dirt and make it grow, or learn how to clip clippings off of a tree that's already growing and transplant it into your yard. You could always go get some orange clippings or something and plant some orange trees. I would also recommend that you read some books on churning butter or condensing milk, things like that, things that you might need to know. Cole says there are also 2 or 3, not sure, seasonal summer cabins within 12 miles down the valley and in the Custer. Probably has some things, yes. Also good to know your terrain. Know what's around you. Know where you can get supplies should you need them. Right, CWL. As if nuts couldn't figure it out, but best to play safe. Learn how to can and cure meat. That's a good one, CWL. Very good. Thank you. Yes, learn how to can. Learn how to cure meats. Make jerkies, because jerkies last a long time and you don't have to refrigerate it most of the time. That's a good one. Good call. And it's not that hard to do. It's not that difficult. You just have to know how to dry it right and stuff and what to put on it. Canning is a big one because if you can things properly, that can last like 6 months or even up to a year sometimes. So you could save foods. Learn how to make jelly for a little flavor. I know where there's some salt outcroppings here. That's a good thing to know about because you ain't gonna have no salt unless you know how to go down to the ocean and pick up sea salt. Or distill it out of the water. I don't know how to do it, but I think that'd be a good thing to know. Anybody else got any great ideas about how to survive the calamity that's coming? Couldn't hurt if you own property to invest and buy you a couple of those shipping containers and bury them in your backyard with a little stairwell down into them so you could get underground if you need to. That's something I'd like to do here. And I ain't above doing it. And I know how to ride horses, so, well, yeah. You probably would be better off to shoot that horse and eat it, but might be good to have one to ride if you need to. Do you know how to make biodiesel? That's a good thing to know how to make. You can turn burnt cooking oil into gasoline. Well, diesel. With just a few additives. It's a lot easier to get than gasoline when the world's gas stations stop, I can tell you that. There's also a thing called gasifier, where you can burn wood chips, or you can burn water and boil wood chips, and the gas that comes off of it is flammable enough that you can run an engine with it. Not a good engine, but like a two-stroke or not a two-stroke, but like a lawnmower engine or something like that. I've never seen anybody try to run a car off of it, but I've seen small engines operate with gasified steam, and it works. So that's a thing to know how to do. Learn a little bit of a basic electronics. One thing I learned how to do because I was curious in my teens, I learned how to make a generator out of magnets and wrapped copper wire. So if push comes to shove, well, there's Alpine Gulch right there. Alpine Gulch, Coal Creek Croft might be interested in the thing you emailed me about today. I was going to email you after the podcast, but there you are. So I apologize, but I've already pulled the trigger on one of those. So I can't help you on that one, but maybe he can. Cole, you want to drop your email? Kevin Cox, what's up, buddy? Alpine says, howdy, everyone. Jake, did you get my email today? Yes, I did. And I'm sorry I hadn't had a chance to email you back yet. I just got home from work, jumped on the podcast. So I was going to do that afterwards, but here you are. So, hi. Hey, Jake. Hey, Kev. Coal Creek Croft says, shipping containers are death traps to bury unless you construct a strong roof for it. Like a tin can. Popular idea, but key problem. Well, you got to reinforce it. CWL says, there used to be a show on TV where a man built a truck that could be powered by the methane from horse poop. Yep, there's all kinds of things. Landfills. There's a good source of methane right there, a landfill. So if you can figure out a way to trap it, they produce a lot of methane. Amanda says, hi, Alpine and Kevin. Kevin says, hey, Amanda, Coal Creek and everyone. Coal Creek says, Alpine Gulch, hey. I'm the old MVTV, if you don't know. I hear you have a used car for sale. Where in general is it located, Alpine? I'm trying to help. I'm sorry, about 3 days ago, I pulled the trigger on an 88 Ford pickup truck, so I I can't help but maybe he can. I know how to make wine and ... But wine don't count, CWL. Nobody wants to know you went to prison. Alpine says, hey, Amanda, thank you. Yeah, wine is a good thing to know how to make because it does ferment and it will stay fresh longer. So that's a good thing to know. Alpine says, yes, it's a 1990 Dodge Dynasty in Cheyenne. That's Cheyenne, eh? Stand by. What's that place that doesn't really exist? Can't think of the name, but Wyoming. Is that right? How are you, Lily? Good to see you. You don't call, you don't write. I thought you forgot all about me. CWS says, I'm not talking about Prudhoe. I'm talking about wine made like the Greeks used to make. I know I was teasing with you, buddy. I know. That is a good thing to know how to make. It's good to be able to make something that lasts. And wine lasts. That's why they all drank it back then, because they didn't have refrigerators. Yep. Wyoming. That's what I thought. I heard a comedian say one time, does anybody know anybody from Wyoming? Are we sure that place even really exists? And for some reason, I thought it was funny, and I ain't never forgot it. Inside joke. In my own head. It's terrible. I know. Cole says, that's in Wyoming, Jake. About as far from me as I am from Helena, where I visit. A bit closer, 5 hours. See, I told you it was in your area. I didn't know exactly where it was, but I knew it was close. And I knew that you were the guy you should talk to. I should talk to. So, I'm talking to you. Hopefully that'll help out for both of you. Bubby Watts, long time no see, buddy. I'm back. The college semester just ended, and now I can finally relax and not worry about stupid assignments. Well, I'm glad. How are you doing in college there? Hope you're doing well. I hope life is treating you well. Everybody hit that like button, subscribe, share, and support, please. There are 10 people in chat and only 5 likes. That math don't add up. It's easy. Just press the button. I've been trying to move for 2 months. I got sick. I'm sorry. Are you doing better? I'm sorry to hear you're ill. I wish you were closer. I'd lend a hand. I'm doing good, says Bubby Walk. I passed my classes. Thank the good Lord himself. Amen. Thank God. I hope you passed your classes and managed to keep your integrity intact while you're doing it, and don't fall prey to the woke mind virus that's surrounding you as you speak. CWL says, I lived in Wyoming for a short time. I have an uncle that lives there. I'm not exactly sure where, but at the base of some mountain. He's married to an Indian girl, and his name is Johnny. And he looks like an old miner, like Yosemite Sam in real life. That's what he looks like. He probably was a miner. That's probably why he looks that way. But there you go. If you know Johnny Stapleton, you know somebody that's related to me. Cole says, Wyoming is beautiful. I'm sure it is. I lived in the Medicine Bow Mountains in Carbon County. Sounds like a western town if I've ever heard of one. That sounds like the kind of place you need to wear spurs on your boots when you walk in and saunter up to the bar. Alpine says, yep, my Dodge was my backup vehicle, but I can't afford tires in these snow states and hard to find 144. Cole says, geez, I think the border of Wyoming is less than 50 miles south of me. Not used to being so far southeast in Montana. CWL says the closest town was Elk Mountain. Definitely a western town. Bubba Watt says, thankfully, not my teacher for one of my classes doesn't like hearing political projects. It was a digital audio class. Excellent. So we basically made things such as radio ads and PSAs and such. Cool. You could use your talents in the podcasting world. That'll get you busy on promoting the show. Alpine says 14-inch tires breaks my heart, but I'm moving to a place that may not want it parked there. I hear you. Where are you moving to? Still in Wyoming? I did make a podcast for a project, funny enough. Well, share with the class. CWL says, yep, very much so. The favorite pastime was combating sobriety. I'm guessing you won. I lived in a town much like that back in the old days. CWL says, I'm excess. Pine Bluffs. That sounds lovely. In excess. I got you. You won in excess. I got it. Combating sobriety. Pine Bluffs. Is that New Mexico? Or is that still Wyoming? For some reason, that sounds like Pine Bluffs, New Mexico. I don't know why. I'm not very scholarly in geography. Plus, I've never been there, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Help me out here. Kevin, you guys doing all right tonight? Where's my April at? It's hard for me to type. Moving to an old bank on Main Street. That sounds fantastic. That would be awesome. You could put your bedroom in that big vault. Now, that might not be good, though, because somebody might shut the door. That would be terrible. It's in Wyoming. Okay. CWL says, I used to be fond of rot gut whiskey, but I have been completely sober for 3 years. Well, that's good. I've never been a drinker. I never have been able to get my lips around the bottle for some reason. Just don't do it for me. Cold Creek Cross says, I was west of Cheyenne 3 years ago that I almost got killed due to a truck in my lane. God's work. I'm good, but not that good. Babbled about this before. Yes, I remember. Was that 3 years ago? Wow. I've drank enough for 3 people's lifetimes, says CW. I believe you. The vault is in the basement, LOL. That might be fun. Unusual things occur in basements, usually involving leather straps and big suitcases. I don't know. Anyway, that's pretty cool. I'm proud for you. I hope it's a good move. And I hope that you and Cole can come to some agreement on that car, because I hate to leave you hanging. And I wish I'd have known earlier that I just got handled on that one. April's at Public, says Kevin. We ate surprisingly at Gators. I gambled and won tonight. I am now home and talking with Elijah Craig, a brand of bourbon. Yes, a brand of bourbon. Well, congratulations on the win. See what happens when you put good things into the universe. And take it easy on old Elijah there. Cold Creek says around Beaufort, pitch black night. Good highways, though. WDT saved me as well with a smooth new shoulder on a remote highway in the middle of nowhere. Good work, guys. Why I didn't roll. I hear you. Sports update. There's no sports tonight worth talking about. Go Dogs. Ha Kevin. No leather, but maybe ghosts. Maybe. Could be. Well, you know how it is. Maybe you'll get lucky and get a freaky ghost. Maybe you'll find some money in the vault. That'd be nice. All right, Jake, I'm going to head off. I just stopped by to tell you how things have been for me. I'm glad to see everyone is doing well. Bubby Watts, thank you for being here, buddy. Come see us on Sunday night. We need you around these parts, and we miss you. So congratulations on the pass. I hope that you do well in college, and come on back to see us. And hit that like button before you leave. I've lost weeks thanks to Jim Beams at CWL. I hear you. I don't think I've ever done that before. I've lost a couple days thanks to tequila, though, for sure. Bubby Watt says, absolutely, Jake. I'll make sure to have my notifications on. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. And it's my birthday Sunday, so everybody's invited. I want you all to show up so we can have a good Bible study on my birthday. Be lovely. I'll probably be at my sister's house, but we'll do it. We'll get her done. I don't miss Bible study for nobody's birthday, not even mine. I'll even shave for the occasion because I'm getting kind of hoary. Hoary, not the other hoary. Although, no. So, while we're on the subject, anybody got any good tips for how to survive the apocalypse? What's a good skill to have? A good thing to know? A good piece of information? A good backup source? Share it with the community. That's why we're here. Build the community. That's the most important thing you'll have when the world goes to shit. CWL says, back in my drinking days, I would drink just about anything. Beer to mezcal and Crown to some stuff made in the mountains. Pike County White Lightning. When is your Florida trip? Should be now. But I had an unforeseen circumstance arise that I had to take care of before I leave. So sometime in the next week or so, I got to get the thing out of the way first. I will show up for your birthday. Thank you, dear. I appreciate that. Means a lot. I'll be the big 4-9er. The big 4-9er. Greenbrier roots are edible. Yes, they are. You know what else is edible? Certain cactuses. cacti. You can fry them up and eat them. You just got to know which ones, because the other ones will make you trip balls and die. The first part would be fun. The second part, not so much. End days advice. Locate your nearest preppers. Take their stuff. Smart move, Cold Creek Croft, except for one small hitch in your giddy up there. If it's like me, I don't know how all preppers are because I don't know very many, but I can assure you that most of them are 2A supporting, card carrying NRA members and will shoot you dead if you go try to take their stuff, especially during the apocalypse. So don't do that. Make your own stuff and then guard it with your life, because that's what everybody else is thinking. Everybody out there is thinking, let me get in there and take that guy's stuff. You need a compound. Batten down the hatches, close all the gates, pull the curtains, put some stuff in front of the door, both sides, and cock your gun and sit patiently in your rocking chair and wait for them to come through the door, because they're coming, believe me. But I like where your head's at. What can't you afford, MVTV? The tires on it are good with 2 spares. The car is free. I must have missed one. I don't know if I missed it or not. And Alpine, I would gladly take it off your hands if I could, but I already did, so I apologize about that. I'll read Alpine's comment again. What can't you afford, MVTV? The tires on it are good with 2 spares, and the car is free. Oh, wait a second. Now we're talking my language. Fab Daddy. What's the deal, Fabs? Is that an accident? Sorry, CWL. I don't know what's happening. Would be glad for it to go to a good home. That's beautiful, Alpine. Thank you so much for that. God bless you. Really. Sorry, CWL, but dialed those messages. I figured something was going on. Hey, Fab Daddy, what's up? CWL, I apologize. That was a technical difficulty. He was talking about his ball and musket that he bought, and I didn't see the other message. But please respond. Cole says, I would have to figure out how to get down there without driving. Duh. I have family in Colorado Springs. My brother might. Can I have your contact info? And here's his email address right here. Cole Creek Croft says, or I can do a comment on your channel. I'm at hauntedmarysville@gmail.com. Fat Daddy says, I was watching a movie and had the phone next to me on the couch. Steady deleting my guys. I understand. It happens. But thank you. Thank you for clearing that up. Ooh. Thank you, Amanda. CWL has now been unhidden. Sorry, CWL. We'll get it figured out. I didn't realize he was hidden. I thought just his message was hidden. But thank you for fixing that. Fab Daddy says thank you too. Okay, so you got Cold Creek's email and digits. CWO says, no worries, I have been blocked before, not intentionally. And that's funny too, because I got accused of blocking somebody last week that I didn't block or have blocked. So there's a big hoopla. Anyway, I apologize about that. Amanda says, you're welcome. Cole says, I need to change my info anyway from Marysville. Too many jackasses there outnumber some truly wonderful people. Not here, but other places, says CWL. Yeah, it happens. I apologize. We got it straightened out, though. What were you saying about your ball of musket? I didn't take it personal. I didn't think you did. I did not think you did. As soon as I saw it, I figured something happened. It was an accident. All right, boys and girls, please do me a favor and hit that like button. Press the subscribe button and the bell icons so you get notifications of when I'm going to be online, when my new videos drop. Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into our family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of our solutions, not part of our problems. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform with me, drink my Kool-Aid, make your own Kool-Aid. As long as you're thinking critical, that's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And hey, if you dig what you see and you like to be part of this community, you like to be part of something special and you'd like to help out, or if you just like to, tip the musician or whatever, you can do that. You can support my work by going to paypal.me/JakeJohnsonBand, paypal.me/JakeJohnsonBand, or if you're a Cash App user, you can go to $JakeJohnsonBand. $JakeJohnsonBand. Every little bit helps. It's a win-win. It's a blessing to me, but it's a blessing to you too, because God notices these things. And when you ask Kevin, when you put good things into the universe, good things come back to you. I promise you that. It works every time. And with that said, I will do everything in my power to be worthy of that support, answer all your questions and comments, as I always do, as I will continue to do so now. Cole says, Alpine Gulch. Sometimes I need my phone signal booster on or I won't go through. May text. We'll find it. We'll find it once back in a signal. CWL says, I bought a couple of cap and ball pistols and a black powder musket. That sounds cool. Are they in good shape? Are they like 1800s or are they reproductions? Cole says, CWL, do black powder guns have a strong recoil? I know they can be loud. Very nice. Well, the one I shot did, but it was a blunderbuss. So it was intended to have a strong recoil. I don't know about the littler ones. Walter Davis, what's up, my brother? Good to see you. Fab Daddy says, it was the charging cord bumping into the phone when I shifted my position on the couch. Alpine says, okay, got it. Cool. You guys work that out and you kids have fun out there and don't do nothing I wouldn't do in your basement. Amanda says, Walter, hi. Cole says, Alpine Gulch, thanks. No urgency. I would keep it safe. Probably not drive it much. But if my envoy goes, I'm screwed. Up the creek without a paddle or a ride at your convenience. In other words, step on it, lady. I'm drowning here. April Rain, what's up? Much love, everyone. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. Glad you could drop in. CWL says reproduction models. They don't kick bad, but they produce a lot of smoke. Yes, they do. And they take a long time to shoot, don't they? But in a pinch, they will do the trick. I prefer Smith & Wesson myself. Never leave home without it. Amanda says, April, hi, hon. Good to see you. Walter Davis, how you doing today, sir? Good to see you, my friend. I'm sitting on go whenever you are. I can leave tomorrow or the next day. April says, hello, Jake and Amanda, everyone. How is everybody? Fantastic. We're talking about end of the world type stuff, but the good stuff. And trading. And it's good to know how to trade. It's also good to know how to defend. Yay. Yeah, the good stuff. You know, like canning foods and making gasoline out of stuff and, you know, that sort of thing. How not to bury shipping containers. CWO says, I have a couple of Smith & Wessons and a Colt 45 and a couple of Henrys. Alpine says, well, I need to get rid of it fast. So you're in luck. I really do wish I'd have heard about it a few days earlier, but I've already pulled the trigger on something that I got to take care of, so I can't do it. Walter says, hi, Jake, Montana, Amanda, Alpine, Fab, CWL. Bye, Kevin, April. I don't know who Bye is. Somebody. April says, cool. Alpine Gulch says, howdy, April, Walter, and all. You guys are so nice. I love you guys so much. I wish you knew that for sure. I wish you understood how big my heart was for you. I should figure out these now unused windmills for power generation while there's YouTube videos to learn, says Cole Craycroft. I agree. I picked up the clutch today for the truck. Excellent. It's fantastic. I'm ready to put it in. I done watched videos and everything. You put together a great group of people, Jake. Yes, I did. And it ain't just me, it's you. And it's them. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful to have people that love each other enough to take care of each other. And that's what my goal was. And I'm proud to be part of this community. April says, Alpine, good to see you, love. Cole says, hey, Walter Davis, April Rain. I am proud. Producing power is easy. The cost comes from the shortage. Well, producing power is easy. Keeping power being produced is not easy, which is, I've looked into this. Trust me on this. As long as you have a grid, you should just pay your power bill. It's much easier, I promise. It's much easier. It's much less labor intensive. It's much cheaper. However, if the power ever goes down, there are ways to produce electricity with water, with wind, with solar. And it is doable, but it is work. And you're going to have to constantly work on it because all things that go into motion break down. So it ain't just going to continuously produce power. You got to stay on it, keep it working. And batteries are expensive. But if you know how to get rechargeable batteries and you have a step-down transformer, or one of those little boxes that you can buy from Tesla or from a hardware store for a van, and if you alternators, all you got to do then is figure out how to turn those alternators. And you can do that with a stream or with a windmill or with a bicycle for that matter. And then you can charge those batteries, then use the power, and then charge the batteries again the next day and use the power at night. That's how I would do it. I would have been here earlier, says Walter, but I had dinner and conversation with my mother. Well, that's more important. Believe that. April says, I agree. April says, Walter, MVTV, CWL, everyone, good to see you all. And Cole says, Alpine, my brother is only 2 hours away from Cheyenne in Falcon, Colorado. He's always moving around, a diver and a firefighter. May be able to have him retrieve. Keep in Colorado until I need it. Talk to you later. Okay. Or until or if needed. Sorry. Well, we'll figure it out. It's good that you guys got that covered. And I appreciate that everybody jumped on it and took care of it. So thank you for that. There is a spring-fed pond on the farm, and I always wanted to set up a water mill for making electricity, but my father wasn't cool with it. April says, same, I was eating also. Alpine says, yes, I love you all too. Great folks. I've been just too sick and tired to participate, but lurking. My apologies. Well, I wish we'd have knew you were sick. We'd all prayed for you and seen if we couldn't get somebody out there to take care of you. There's no need to ever hide that you're sick. We'll be here for you. Cole says, there's a big pit here I call the engine pit because it's filled with small engines, engine-like things, pumps, and all kinds of like stuff. Bit rusty. That's terrifying. CWL says, I hit the catfish buffet hard at lunch. Catfish sounds good. And Walter, there's nothing stopping you now. Go out and make you a water-fed. I've got a design, actually, I'd like to share with you guys one day. Basically, it's a big tank that sits up about 14 feet in the air, big water tank. And then it troughs down into a reservoir. And then there's a pump on the end that pumps the water back up to the tank. And in between the trough, there's 5 alternators, car alternators. And they charge batteries when the water is released, and then they pump back up. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it requires a start because it's not a perpetual motion machine. So you would need something like a river or something to power the pump. But that would be a great way to keep your house electrified when the grid goes out. It's worth a thought anyway. And you could just replace alternators as they go bad by going out and sourcing them from the world, because all the cars will be on the sides of the road. Hadn't you ever watched The Walking Dead? They'll just all be out there with the hoods open, so you just go get what you need. Cold Creek Croft says, I appreciate the word, Jake. If it works out, I will make it worth both you and Alpine's time. Free bobbleheads, coupons at Golden Corral? Nah, but I would be grateful to you all. Well, Cole, nobody did it because we thought we were going to get paid. We did it because there's a need, and there's a thing that can fill a need, and we bring those things together. That's what community does. It was done for me. I'll do for you. Simple as that. Walter says, there's a spring house. It would be easy to bring the spring in and set up a propulsion system and run a generator off it. Yes, it would. And if you've got your own source of running water on your own property, you don't know how lucky you are. I've got a little canal out there, but I'm pretty sure I can dam it up and get enough water running in between the road to move something. You can't drink it because it's like nasty creek water, but that little canal, I'm pretty sure I can turn into a river for a little ways anyway, enough to get enough power to push something. So if I ever need to, I can do that. But having your own source of water is amazing. I also have a pump out here somewhere that the city capped off. They said our water was contaminated, and they made us get city water about 30 years ago. And I don't believe them. I don't think there was anything wrong with the water. I think they just wanted us to be on city water. I'd like to get a metal detector and go find that pipe. I know about where it's at, and then retap it and have the water tested that comes out of the aquifer underneath my property, because that would be ideal. Fat Daddy says, build an exterior water tower. Water tank requires more support than most roofs can handle. True. Fab Daddy. Alpine says, exactly, Jake. Thank you, dear. Cold Creek Cross says, the well water here is high in sodium and best to use bottled water. Sigh, hassle. I got tired of buying it when, I clued into the feet of snow outside. Unlimited. Great water, too. Yes, comes right out of the sky. It's got heavy metal toxicity in it, but that's okay. You can just sweat that out. CWL says, I know a few people who live completely off the grid, no power or modern conveniences. Conveniences of any kind. And they teach people self-reliability. Well, that's a good thing to do. That's kind of what we're talking about, because it's going to come to that at some point. Yeah, but it takes an electric pump, says Cole Creekcroft. I wonder how accessible wait. Several of the working windmills are all drawing up gallons of water for the cattle tanks. See? Walter says, I rebuilt a water wheel for a grist mill. Does anybody know what a grist mill is? It was estimated that the wheel was at 7 ramp, developed 750 horsepower. Wow. So you could turn like a small Briggs & Stratton engine with that. Alpine says, I heard it takes 6 feet of snow to get 1 cup of water. Is that true? No. April says, yes, it will. CWL says, I do. You do what? Remind me of the babe? I think there's something I missed. Oh, you do know what a grist mill is. Okay. A grist mill grinds corn into feed. Yes, it does. Know what a grist... I got it. You know where I first heard the word grist mill? I can tell you exactly where I heard it. In a Garth Brooks song. And I had to go find out what that was because I didn't know. But now I know. I was a young boy back then. Walter Davis says, you can find it on Google. Clinton Mill. Clinton, New Jersey. Old Grist Mill Road. I know what a cotton gin is, too. This is all speculative knowledge because I've never picked cotton a day in my life. Depends on the content. Can vary, says Cole Creekcroft. I would go out with a normal pot, put on a stove, and yield just under half. Not perfect measure. You expect less, but not enough to be an issue. The only thing I've ever used snow for is to make ice cream. I have done that. I've never melted it for water. But I'm sure you can do that, yeah. CWL says, living where I do, there's a lot of folks that have ridden to town many times on a horse-drawn wagon. I bet. Alpine says, we use gravity feed tube for our spring into a tank with 2 outspouts to keep it full. There's some science in there. I don't know, but it works. Yes, that's kind of what I was talking about, but it's kind of got a pump that brings the water back up to the top, but the gravity is what turns the wheels. Cole says, oh, I also think it was thicker than fresh, fluffy snow. I was scooping it out of a high wind-blown snow berm that was certainly packed thicker a bit. I don't know. I've never been in 6 feet of snow before. I've been in 4 feet of snow, but not 6. Cole says, CWL, that's cool as hell. I see a lot of wagons eroding into the ground and try to imagine. Do you know what a stamp mill is? I do not. What is a stamp mill? No pump. Yeah. Yeah, I got to figure that one out. I hadn't figured that one out yet. Fab Daddy says, I know stamp mill. Is that a place that makes stamps? Put in the sand and then grind it around on the wheel and then out comes postage stamps? Is that how it works? I don't know. Many hammers that crush rock. Got it. So that's like a mining thing. Pulverizers. Cold Creek Cross says, got to explore some old stamp mills in Marysville. What was left of them, at least. That town had a 16 stamp going 24 hours and cannot figure out why it all didn't go crazy from the noise. Gold, baby. Crushes rocks. Got it. Gold. There's gold in them there hills. Cole says, well, yeah, gold. Muse retracted. Nope, we don't need pumps. You'll have to share that with me because I don't know how that works. But if I could figure that out, I would have pretty close to a perpetual motion machine. Yeah, out in Pennsylvania where I live, they are called coal crackers, says Walter. Coal cracker, huh? CWL says, I was little when they put our public water lines in, and now the water department is not putting in any new meters until they update the system. Fat Daddy says, I live in Oroville. Back in the gold rush, there were more people living in the mountains here than in San Francisco. I bet they make better rice-a-roni, too. Cole says, was the Drumlin mine. Because of that, Helen and I had more millionaires in any town in America, or so it claimed. Drumlin? Their name even sounds annoying. Drumlin in Oroville. Oroville. Yep, I would like to find that water line and retap it. Get back into my well. Because I would definitely love to not be on city water. I don't like city water. Walter says, this is where the derogative cracker comes from. Crackers. Where people are breaking up the coal and breakers. Ore is Spanish for gold, says Fab Daddy. El Nino, which is Spanish for the Nino. Mining towns must have been extremely loud, says Alpine Gulch. Probably. Extremely loud and extremely boisterous and extremely dusty. I live on the East Coast, so we're not privy to that kind of living out here. I hate city water, says April. Me too. It's bleachy. I don't like it. I'd much rather drink it out of the ground if it ain't contaminated like they said it was, which I don't believe, but I'll find out if I can ever find that pipe. I'd like to see with my own eyes anyway. Cold Creek Cross says, Fab Daddy, I think we spoke of this before. I lived in the mountains outside of Auburn. I remember driving by miles and miles of dredge piles around Folsom. I think only there 1.5 years. Wow. And lots of hookers and bars for the miners, says Fab Daddy. Exactly, says April. You can get a reserve osmosis water filter from Home Depot online. That will clean any water, says Walter. That's true. A reverse osmosis. I said reserve, but I meant reverse. See what I did there? I said it backwards. That killed me. All right, everybody. Hit that like button. It's only 8 likes. We need to get that number up. Marysville is in high-walled bowl of sorts. 2, 1 square mile. At one time, 4,000 people crammed in, which is why relics, tools, and pioneer items make up the first feet below ground. Wow. Walter says, I did a few of them in Florida. I did a few of them in Florida, too. Oh, we're talking about water. Sorry. All right, boys and girls, it is 10 o'clock. As bad as I hate to do it, I got to turn into a pumpkin now and go to bed. Thank you guys so much for being you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging in there and being part of this amazing journey that we've been on. I love each and every one of you. Truly, I do. And I can't wait to do it again. And just so happens, Sunday be my birthday, so we'll be doing it then. So, until next time, enjoy your wild America, says CWL. Alpine says people would crush gold ore rocks in their home to make good money. Imagine, hey, honey, we are hammering rocks all day and night if we want food. That's horrible. I don't think I'd like that at all. Amanda says, night. Oh, see you Sunday night on Jake's birthday. Thank you, Amanda. Alpine says, thanks all, and thank you. And thank you for your generous offer. And Cold Creek, I hope you enjoy. Alpine, I hope you get your car moved. And God bless you all. And I'll see you Sunday. Have a great night. Thank you for being here. God bless you. Thanks for watching.